Hi and welcome to WedMeGood After Hours. I'm in conversation with Joshua Karthik, one half of Stories by Joseph Radhik, who have shot all the celebrity weddings of our times, including Virat, Anushka, Katrina Kaif, Priyanka Chopra, Nick Jonas, and a long list that we're going to hear about. We really tried hard to get all the juice behind these Bollywood weddings and everything we could try out of it. Unfortunately, they are extremely professional and bound by NDAs. But we're going to try our best and see what we can actually get out of this. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Would you say you're one of the few people who really organized wedding photography in the early times in terms of it treating it like a business instead of like a freelance photographer? You know what I mean?
I think I'll actually counter this a little bit. It is not to say that when we entered onto the scene back in 2010, 2012, I think we brought in a different kind of thinking. I mean, the kind of thinking that was honed in the most unlikeliest of places. Joseph started his career with toothpaste, with Colgate-Palmolive. I started my career with paints, with Asian Paints. So how do you get that world and apply it to this world? Turns out there was a lot that we could learn, a lot that we could apply. Systems-driven thinking, all of this stuff, like I'm saying. And that is what set us apart. I think it wasn't that there were no organized, structured businesses. It's just that our understanding of what organization and structure means is very different.
I think it's amazing that people now have avenues, like creative avenues, where they could build large businesses in, which otherwise, I mean, I don't know how your parents reacted when they got to know that both our sons have quit their jobs. Like, what was that like?
I mean, when Joseph quit his job to become a wedding photographer, my father flew down from China. He was working there. And he was like, this was 2010. And he said, did you quit because of Three Idiots? Did you watch this movie and get inspired? And he was like, no, Bollywood is not running my life. Little did he know that Bollywood would run his life. Eventually. But that's what happened. And then a couple of years later, I quit my job and they were like, both the boys.
Kya kar diya?
We ensured that they got the best of education and what are they doing, etc. But I mean, all jokes aside, we were really backed by family very strongly. My family prayed for us. They stood with us.
Did you always know that you want to shoot like luxury weddings? Was there there are two types of photography companies. One that does a lot of volume. They'll do tons and tons of weddings in a year. And there's another sort of photography company that does fewer weddings, selective weddings, but at a much higher ticket size. Did you have that clarity early on?
And we only discovered this. I love your question because we didn't know this going in. We discovered this along the way. We said, man, we would love to put in a lot of effort. And that defined the company, it defined our product, it defined our service, it defined our client list at the end of the day. Because we were obsessing over a few clients, and over time those few clients became these people.
So how does a photographer who's at, let's say, they're shooting like nice weddings right now, but they're aspiring to go into the luxury segment, how does one break into that luxury segment? What is it about?
First of all, who says that we didn't take up anything that came our way in the first couple of years? We did. We learned who we are by taking up everything. We knew who we were to our clients. We knew who our clients were to us. We knew what kind of work really excited us, only because we took up a lot of work. Honestly, I think that first couple of years, I can see so many things when I go back to my client list and my Excel sheet from back then. We did a lot of work. And I think that's my advice to people as well, to photographers who are watching this. Definitely go try things. You will not know from the outside. You can't be a purist from the outside. The other half of your question was, you were like, how do I break into luxury as a segment? There are no gatekeepers, I think, when it comes to industry. I don't know if that's been your experience as well. Speaking to a lot of entrepreneurs, what I see is that there are no gatekeepers. There's no permission that you have to seek from anyone before you actually break into a segment. It's just that your work and the way you treat people has to walk ahead of you. I think a good way to put that is that there's an integrity and there's a passion that has to walk before you. And people will react to that. People will actually respond to that. And they will take you into places that you could otherwise never have imagined as well. And that's what happened to us. And I have seen that happen to so many people as well. Does it track with how
It kind of does. I remember like our first few rounds, actually both rounds of funding. The first round when we were pitching to IAN, there's this group of investors sitting, Alok Mittal was sitting, and Alok Mittal said something like, oh, but it's the mom and dad who decide, right? The weddings, why are they going to come on a platform? And this lady who eventually kind of swayed the opinion, she was like, but my daughter is getting married and she actually keeps telling me about, WedMeGood and all that. And just because it was that one girl who had really liked our platform and she'd have probably told her mom about it, that no, this is really great. We got IIN to invest in us because of that one person who checked our platform and found it useful at that
Amazing,
time.
Man.
So now with social media, right, the kind of content you put out, you will get an audience that's similar, someone who aspires to have that content, right? So for a lot of photographers, it might even be like, I'm shooting a certain kind of wedding. I'm a great photographer, right? I have the same sort of skill levels. But because the wedding I'm shooting is not a luxury wedding, a luxury couple cannot look at, I mean, I have noticed this. A luxury couple will come in, they will look at not the photographer's work, but the kind of weddings he has shot, because they feel that this person understands my aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I've seen people be like, oh, but I don't think he's that good, even though craft-wise, he might be amazing. So any tips on how to get that first? Is it the way you are as a person?
Yeah.
Over and above your work? Is it that?
At the end of the day, I think if we put ourselves in the shoes of the bride and the groom, we have that one opportunity, that's that biggest day, that's the moment that we're looking forward to, and we want to bring in people we can trust. Be broken because at every single point, someone told someone else that these people have integrity. Or these people are trustworthy.
Yeah.
They may not have shot at Umaid, but man, you can trust these guys.
Correct.
The other half is this wedding is never going to come back the same way. Even if you renew your vows 10 years later, you won't be the same people, you won't fit in the same clothes, you won't have the same guest list, you won't have the same venue, it'll be a different wedding, even if you repeat that wedding. So since it's that one time in your life, you not only need to have a great portfolio of images, you also need to have bucket loads of trust. One of the things that I was just talking to a couple of friends yesterday, was it? Yesterday was Sunday, yeah. Small business entrepreneurs, they were starting out, and everyone obsesses over the logo,
Oh God.
the color scheme, what is my deck, what does my website look like?
Yeah.
Man, people are not evaluating you for that.
Not at all, yeah.
They're evaluating you as a person. I think your first obsession should be product and people.
Yes.
And much later comes firming this down,
Yeah.
trying to get this all in place. Yeah. If you killed it at the logo, but you were terrible at service,
Correct.
would you get a call back? You would not.
Yeah.
By the way, my claim to fame is that I designed the Stories logo when we started
really?
out. It's got a couple of billion impressions, so it's one of my
Wow.
achievements in life. But again, I designed it and we're like, at some point, we will do something about this. That some point never came. This just became this
But it's still-
iconic watermark.
The way it's
Stories
written,
logo.
right?
Yeah,
In that font, it still looks pretty current. Like,
Thank you.
So, wow. Secret graphic designers.
Yes,
We didn't know that. Is it true that you would you have differential pricing if Joe is going or if the team is going?
That entirely depends on the experience of the director. It's a very marginal difference, but broadly speaking, it's roughly the same.
It's roughly the same.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's a good sign.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into a little bit in terms of photographers who are just starting to expand. They were, a lone shooter, editor, everything, and they have to now build a business. What's like the first couple of hires that they should be doing?
That's an excellent question, and I think it's a question that a lot of people get stumped by. I think it is safe to say that a lot of people who start off a wedding photography business love the creative aspect of it a lot more than all the other annoying parts, the stuff that I love, the stuff that I do at Stories.
The numbers, the BD,
the sales part, the responding to clients part, the relationship management part, the logistics part, the timelines, all of that stuff. And I think one superpower you can give yourself is to ensure that you start building that aspect of your company.
Yeah.
Right? It's very simple. If you're starting off, if you add another creative to your organization, you'll double sales. At least you'll do more work. You'll have one other person, they'll shoot with you, you'll be a 2-man team, you'll be 3-man team, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But someone's got to manage all that. And it gets exponentially harder.
Yeah.
Exponential, not even linear. It just gets harder and harder and harder.
Yeah.
The sooner you get into this mindset that you want to run a professional business, the better you will be further down the road.
I've also found that not like everybody, like in the creative space, it's very hard for them to trust another person to sell their vision sometimes.
True.
Like sometimes I feel like creative people, they can sell themselves pretty well in terms of their craft. But yeah, I'm a creative person, so I know I come with my own set of like, I'm not super organized. I will never be able to, like a salesperson, have like a pipeline and follow-ups and all that stuff, which actually a salesperson does and is, really good at doing.
Yeah.
So like, what should they be looking for when someone is hiring like their first hire? Yeah, okay, someone who can do sales. But is there any like quality that you guys look for when you hire for stories? Yeah.
One, I think, and this is weird, but I find that artists don't know how to talk about themselves. And as an artist myself, in the parts of my life where I'm an artist, I find it very tough to talk about myself and like really pump it up and and price myself well because I feel awkward. Is it really worth it? Am I good enough? I have all these questions.
And it's also weird. Na? Hi, I'm Joseph. You would have seen me all over here.
So this is my price. So imagine poor Joseph was doing all that stuff before I quit my job and joined him.
Yeah.
The minute I joined him, I was able to say, there's a guy. He's my younger brother. He's amazing. I think he's worth this much.
Right.
So having that yin and yang thing where you don't have to talk about yourself, but have someone else talk for you. Have someone else also assess value at every turn, at every day, like on an every season to season sort of basis. Are we delivering more value? Is he getting better? Is he getting worse? Is my team getting better? Was like a superpower that just unlocked the world for us. Just having one person
who's
away from creativity and just saying, I see it and I can talk about it. But it's not my creativity. So therefore, I'm not a wedding photographer. To sell wedding photography, I could not become a wedding photographer. Honestly, and I would love for wedding photographers to find that yang, that other part of themselves, so someone else could speak on their behalf. Someone else could point to their work and say, man, this is incredible stuff.
I think you spoke a little bit about pricing, but if you have any thoughts on like, how does a wedding photographer arrive at what is the price? What is my right price?
And now it's so easy because the industry has actually done so much work for a wedding photographer starting off in 2025. There are price bands that exist today that did not exist 15 years ago.
That's true.
There are levels to the industry that were not even imaginable 15 years ago. There was no one to compare yourself with. There was no one to draw a line against and benchmark with and say, am I that good or am I not that good? Which segment am I pricing for? Who am I actually going, trying to target and stuff like that. I know a lot of brides are watching this. This is not us being purely mechanical about our lives. It is just that we are also working with extremely talented people who also deserve a good life.
People in this industry charge for their art, and that's how it should be.
For sure, that's how it should be.
There are kind of a bunch of different ways to get business, right? There's word of mouth, there'll be wedding planners, there'll be portals, etc., etc. So how much of your business comes from which segment, and like typically for a wedding photographer, what do you recommend in terms of getting more business?
I think one of the crazy things that Joseph and I like to speak about on stages around the world when we're asked to speak about wedding photography is that we can draw a straight line from our first client to our last client, to the last client that we most recently shot. There's literally a straight line. Someone recommended us to someone else, to someone else, to someone else, to someone else. It has been true that year after year, season after season, behind closed doors, people have spoken so highly of us that they have become our ambassadors. They have allowed us to enter spaces that we did not have access to. We didn't know which celebrity was getting married which year, who was getting married where, but someone spoke up for us. That is real, true word of mouth.
This, I saw this quote somewhere, which is like, get 100 people to absolutely love you versus 1,000 people to just like you.
For sure,
because those 100 people are going to be like, they're going to recommend you again and again and again. And I think that's what it is. When you do kind of fewer weddings, you can focus on really delivering your best.
Yeah.
Okay. And has, stories by Joseph Radhik or Joseph Radhik ever done things for just exposure, not just
Again, this is, like I said, came into the wedding industry conditioned by the industries that we came from. And that concept didn't even occur to us. That you could just do things for free.
For free.
We said we can't do things for free.
Yeah.
Everything has to still, at the end of the day, pay my salaries.
Yeah.
It has to pay for payroll. It doesn't matter whether there's weddings, no weddings, whether there's COVID in between, whether there's like months where there's no revenue. We still have to pay our teams.
True.
That only comes from crazy financial discipline, and that comes from actually charging for stuff.
Yeah.
That's been our story.
Yeah. So we touched upon you guys shooting celebrity weddings, obviously maybe with somebody recommending you to them, etc. Let's get into that a little bit, right? Sure. I remember Virat and Anushka's wedding. We were kind of tracking, it came out on the day that they were getting married or something like that. And it was in Italy. So it was like a very closely guarded secret.
Yeah.
And you guys were obviously there shooting it. So you would have known beforehand, right? How did that wedding come about for you? First of all, I would love to know, like, how did Virat and Anushka happen for you guys?
I mean, how did Virat and Anushka happen? Because somebody close to them absolutely stood up for us and recommended us. And it happened in a place where we could not have reached. It happened behind closed doors. It happened in a place where there was high trust. So that recommendation came with a lot of weight. That was followed by them checking our work and then saying, okay, these people actually are good. This is good. Then we'll reach out. We'll do all of that stuff. But to get to the meat of your question, what was it like to know the secret of when the wedding was and not tell the world about it? Oh, we have very strong NDAs with the entire team. I had to do a meeting with the team the day before. The day I could actually tell them that this was happening. Because the four that were in Tuscany, the three that were in Tuscany, Joseph, Shivali and Noel, they were in Tuscany and the rest of us were in India. So I sat them down. I said, you've signed the NDA. Now I'm going to break some news to you. And this news is insane and you can't tell the world about it, right?
And how much before the wedding was this?
That was pretty close to the wedding. Because you want to make sure that you minimize the chances of that information going anywhere. Not to say that we don't trust the team. We trust the team implicitly, and I think.
But we're all human beings. So.
We're human. What if someone comes up to you? We role played a couple of situations. What if one of your friends comes up and says, "Hey, you work at Stories. Do you know when that Virat Kohli thing is happening? Did you hear of the thing? So should you smile? Should you not smile? Should you do a knowing wink? What should you do? Because these are real life things, right? Should you change the subject in a very awkward way, or should you look away? Should you run for the hills, or what should you do?" So this was like our first brush with an extremely public wedding, because by that time we had shot a lot of incredible weddings. We were used to the NDA life by that time, but this was something else entirely. That next day, when the news broke and when when Virat and Anushka posted those initial photos, they carried the Stories logo. It was everywhere. My phone started ringing off the hook. Then I posted on Instagram saying, if you've seen this photo, the photo with the fire and with Virat and Anushka smiling, I said, if you've seen this in a newspaper, can you just tag me? Man, I got tagged from around the world. It was everywhere.
Did the newspaper carry credits or no?
It carried credits in a lot of instances, right?
That's good.
It was because of the fact that it was Bollywood meets cricket. It was in the BBC. It was in places that we could never have imagined a wedding photo would get to. Amazing. It was all linking back to us. And
I think that brings me to a next question. Like you said, it's about them, right? And these are people who get shot for a living. Like, so they know the angles, they know what looks good. So like, how do you ensure that their wedding photos are like special to them, right? Versus like the thousands of covers that they would have done. Is there something to it in terms of that?
So the kind of people that we have had the privilege of shooting, they're so professional and in terms of being shot that they even know, they stand here and they say, that light is too much. You need to turn that down because I think here that exposure is a bit too much. Not even looking at a monitor.
Wow.
They know what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So one of the first things that we need to do, and I think we have done, is to ensure that we break past that idea that this is a professional shoot.
Right.
To reiterate the fact that this is about intimacy, this is about each other, this is about family, this is about everything else. And the more I think our legend has grown, the more comfortable they have become in terms of trusting us. Saying, yes, you get this.
You get this. since we're on the topic of celebrity weddings, and Virat Anushka was the first one, or the first like very public one.
I mean, 2011, before Stories was founded and Joseph was shooting by himself, he shot Allu Arjun's wedding.
Oh, that would have been insane.
Okay, so
yeah.
a couple of months later, he shot Ram Charan's wedding.
Yeah, but that was pre-Instagram era.
I know,
You know what
I know. So I'm saying, because people ask us, what was it like to shoot your first celebrity wedding? But the thing is, and I think we had a great question posed to me and Joe once, and they said, how was your first celebrity wedding different from the weddings that you shot for anyone else up to that point?
Yeah.
And my response was instant. It was that you can't change the way you shoot and the way you live and the way you actually run your company basis the celebrity-ness of your client.
Correct.
We did almost nothing different for Virat and Anushka as opposed to what we were doing till then.
Like, considering you're shooting, so let's take even Virat and Anushka only, because they're like probably two of the most popular people in the country.
Yeah.
And you have a team and they're human beings and they're going to be starstruck. Like it's Virat Kohli and Anushka Sharma. And even for you, I'm sure there'll be like times when you're starstruck. Like, has that ever happened where you're like, oh my God, it's Virat Kohli? Or someone from your team has been like, but can I please go and get a photograph?
Even if they have thought that, they have never voiced it. Because we don't do selfies with the stars.
Because there's stories and there's a certain...
Stories. We need to carry others a certain way.
Okay. So without naming any names because of the NDAs, are there, do celebrities also like negotiate on the deal price, or it's like, ho gaya, done?
No, I think everybody negotiates. And I think, Mehak, if you were to come back for a 10-year, renewal of vows with between you and Anand, you will also negotiate, I'm pretty sure.
So I'm not a celebrity, na. I will not even be able to afford stories. So.
I'm just saying, I don't think we should get offended by it. I've also seen people get offended. Somebody asked me for a thing, or they've started negotiating. You're going to negotiate.
India is jugaad.
It's fine. It's totally fine. It's ultimately how you carry yourself, how much you respect that other person. It's all back to that, right? We're not selling a laptop.
Correct.
Or something. It doesn't mean that I'm going to budge on my price, but you're free to negotiate.
True. So he didn't say it very clearly, but yes, celebrities also negotiate on. Got it. And knowing that the photos that Stories is going to shoot is going to be all over the internet, like you said, reaching BBC as well. Is there a different kind of pressure when you shoot like a celebrity wedding, knowing that this photo is going to be, or some photo from this lot is going to be anywhere, or like you said, there's no difference in the way you shoot? You
can't change the way you shoot, I think. You should already be assuming that you're shooting on the world's biggest stage, which is what we tell our photographers at Stories. We get to shoot on the world's biggest stage at every wedding. You'd never know which wedding's photo is going to go viral around the internet, right? When Priyanka Chopra showed that one photo at the end of her Sangeet on Jimmy Kimmel, or she showed it on Oprah, how would we know? And how would we react? How would we have reacted if we had to shoot for that output? Would probably be at 50% efficiency, because that stress would get to us.
Correct.
It's best to assume that these will be seen by everyone. People are going to love it, and the bride's going to love it, the groom's going to love it, and I think we'll keep it to that.
For even other brides.
Our website has a line that I wrote. It says, "Be the star of your own story," and that's literally been the
brand bhi bana diya, graphic design bhi kar diya.
That's my job.
You did the whole copy editing also of your thing. Very nice. Like any sort of craziest wedding you've shot that you can talk about. What was like crazy about it?
This one wedding in Seychelles that we shot, which where the mandap was designed on top of a helipad, right?
Helipad,
which was out into the sea, right? So all you could see was the waves crashing in, and it was like a 40-minute drive from the nearest point of civilization on Mahe, which meant that it was secluded, it was beautiful, it was super early in the morning, 8 a.m. was the muhurat, and it was just so gorgeous. It's one of those moments that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. The privilege of being able to be there. Okay.
So we've been talking about brides a lot. Brides being, decision makers, etc., etc. We are seeing a change now in weddings, wherein we are seeing even grooms get a lot more involved. Are you seeing that at your end as well, or is it still just the bride?
All I know is there's a magazine called Brides, but I don't think there's a magazine called Grooms. Can you Google that and check? Is there, because it looks like it should change though.
Yeah.
Because the world is changing. The world has changed on us, and it's good to see that grooms are so invested in the wedding day, in this aspect of the wedding as well.
Yeah.
15 years ago or 13 years ago, we were dealing with so many grooms who were like, we hate this, we don't want this. Personally heard everything.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't care about this is for the bride.
I'm sure you also heard ki ab you match chal raha, main match dekhna before my fairas. Why are you making
anything? It's like I want to party hard the night before the wedding because who cares? My friends are all here. Now grooms are like, I need to look good in my photos on the wedding day, so I'm gonna rest at a sober hour. I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna look a certain way.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. We need more groom involvement in weddings.
You guys need to start a magazine called Grooms.
If you can fund it, great.
All right, awesome.
There's this whole rise of social media managers at weddings, and what I'm hearing is like there's a social media manager jostling with his iPhone. There's a wedding photographer who wants to get that beautiful shot. There are all the guests at the wedding who also have their phones out. So what's that like?
I mean, it can be chaos. Especially if those roles are not defined clearly and boundaries are not drawn up ahead of time. I think if wedding photographers show up on the day of the wedding without having clarified these things, they're going to run into some of these people and say, this is my responsibility, that is my responsibility. I need to be there shooting the bride getting ready because this makes for social media content. But maybe not. Maybe you can do something in 5 minutes once she's ready.
Right.
Maybe that getting ready moment is sacrosanct. It is for the mother of the bride, it's for the sister of the bride, it's for her best friends, and it's for that quiet wedding photographer in the corner. Not for someone who's going to come in and say, ab main reel banaunga iske upar. Nothing wrong with it, but that moment could potentially be preserved from a wedding photography lens.
But I think with the rise of Instagram, what's also happened is, and we were speaking about this earlier, wherein like we moved from like these posy photos on stage to like this candid photography, and now from candid we've gone back to like posing for reels and like posing for viral moments and like doing this overly produced sort of wedding things. Like, what do you think about that?
I think life is a circle. If you wait long enough, the things that went out of fashion will come back into fashion. Maybe one thing that hasn't made the cut is that the post-portraiture of yesteryears used to be much better. It was done better.
Really, you feel that?
I feel like there was a certain respect that was given to that.
True.
Right? Today we're in it for the moment. We're trying to get it done, so we're posing for that moment. In yesteryears, they used to pose for the generational photograph.
True.
So maybe if we bring that in, even post-portraiture can again come back up to be super cool.
Rapid fire round, which is yes, no, maybe.
All right.
Okay. Have you ever thought these two might not last while shooting a couple?
I am not going to answer that.
Have you ever flown private to a wedding?
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Have you ever been starstruck at a wedding? Which one?
I mean, I can't tell you, but man, I literally saw stars in my eyes.
And have you ever signed a wedding without knowing who the couple is because it's too high profile? Can you tell who this was? No?
I can't tell you who it was, but when we found out, we were very pleasantly surprised.
Have you ever teared up looking at a wedding that's been shot?
Absolutely.
Have you ever had to follow up multiple times for payments collections?
No, absolutely not.
No?
No.
Really? You will probably be the only wedding photographer in India who's saying no to that. So I'm going to end it with a line from the Stories website. Like he said, be the star of your own wedding. And it's been a pleasure, Joshua.
Thank you.
And I'm sure this has been super helpful for not just a lot of wedding photographers who've seen this in terms of how to start their business, but also brides who wanted a little bit of insight into wedding photography. All the best. I'm sure we're going to see tons and tons of more celebrity, high profile and beautiful weddings coming from Stories and from you.
Thank you.
And hope to see you around soon.